So you're thinking of buying a house in Denver? In this video, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know. I'm Angel, your Denver real estate agent, and this channel's all about Denver. So if you want to be in the loop about what's going on in the city, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. First things first, you gotta take a look at your credit score. Ideally, you'll have a credit above 680. You can definitely do lower, but it's gonna hurt your interest rate. Also, you need to determine where you wanna live. At this time, I'm working on a database that combines census data with property information data so that you can easily know based on data where you wanna go. And when I say this, I say, hey, if you prefer being in a neighborhood that's 80% single family homes and 20% condos and townhomes, do you want 100% single family homes, etc.? It's mostly about using the data to narrow down your search, but of course nothing replaced going to the actual neighborhood and seeing it for yourself. If you want access to the tool, reach out, book a Zoom call with me, and then we can go over it together. It's not just data, I also have some videos that you can see where I'm going through the neighborhoods and you can kind of get the feel of what they're like. Also, you gotta make a budget. When the lender takes a look at your situation, they basically take a look at the debt to income ratio. So they take a look at how much you're paying every month. They compare that to how much you're making every month, and they come up with the pre-approval amount. That's all they look at. So if you want to maintain your lifestyle, if you go to 12 vacations a year, if you go to 52 new restaurants every year, you gotta make this budget so that you maintain your quality of life. The amount that you're pre-approved for is the highest you can go, but you don't have to buy at that price range if that's gonna interfere with your lifestyle. Another thing is that you gotta know about closing costs. There is title insurance, recording fees, and these are gonna vary depending on the home that you buy. To be safe, I would say expect to pay from $5,000 to $8,000. Now, if you want to pay points to lower your interest rate, this is what we call a rate buy down. That's not included in the $5,000 to $8,000 that I mentioned. And just a quick note, when you close on a home, you're going to pay the interest until the end of the month in which you closed. Then the first payment begins on the first month after the 30 days that you're in the house. And I know that was a little too quick, so I'll give you an example. If you buy your home on January 5th, at closing, you're going to prepay the interest through January 31st. You will not pay anything in February because it hasn't been 30 days since you've been in the home. So your first full payment is going to be March 1st. So when we're making offers, this is one thing we can utilize so that you can get basically one free month without living there. If you had closed your home, let's say December 31st, just 5 days before, and then your first payment was going to be February 1st. So waiting 5 days to close gave you a full month without a payment. Another thing, right now, 2023, a lot of sellers are giving concessions. So they can help you pay for closing costs. They can help you buy down your rate. This is something we hadn't seen in a while, so take advantage of that. There's low down payment options. If you're a first-time home buyer, there's many programs some lenders have. They come and go, so I don't want to give the details here. But basically, the one that's very popular right now, it only requires $1,000 down payment. There's also VA loans, which requires 0% down. USDA, again, 0% down. There's many low down payment options. There's some programs that they give you a grant. They actually give you the money to close, and so you only come out of pocket with a little bit of money. And there's also some other programs that they call silent seconds. What it means is that they're going to put a second lien on your home. If you don't meet the program requirements, then they're going to charge you that at the time you sell your home. Many of these silent seconds become grants. So some of them have like a 5-year requirement. So if you live in the house for 5 years, then it becomes a grant. So you need to understand these options before we go house hunting. Depending on the loan you're using, you're probably going to have to escrow for property taxes and insurance. What this means is that instead of you paying the property taxes and insurance directly, you're going to give that money to the bank, and then the bank is going to take care of those payments for you. And again, depending on the loan, at closing, they typically require 3 to 6 months of reserves. Now, everything we've mentioned so far talks about the process before we start house hunting. Now the fun begins. Now you need to hire a real estate agent, and guess what? I know someone who's really good. Typically, the seller pays for the real estate agent, so there's no reason for you not to be represented.
But Angel, if I find a house that I like on Zillow or Realtor.com, why don't I just go directly with that agent?
Well, the thing is, that agent does not represent your best interest. And let me tell you why. So first of all, the listing agent already has a relationship with the seller. They're not looking for your best interest, they're looking for the best interest of the seller. The other thing is, imagine if the seller is selling that home and then buying a new one. Who do you think the agent wants to make happy? Now, I'm not saying people cannot be impartial. There's people that can do that. What I'm just saying is that there's a higher likelihood that that agent does not have your best interest in mind. As an agent, we'll sit down together, we'll find out what you're looking for in the house, what neighborhoods you want to be in, do you want 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, whatever you want, we can set up the search and then you're only going to get those properties. Now, you've seen the house, you love it, we're going to put in an offer. And a quick tip, we don't lowball people that have been on the market for 4 days or a week because of 2 reasons. 1, we're going to piss off the seller, or 2, they're gonna think about accepting the offer, but what's gonna happen is if the agent's good, he's gonna take our offer and he's gonna shop with the other agents that show the home and they're probably gonna get a better offer than ours. If the property has been on the market for a while, yes, let's do it. Let's see if we can get you a really good deal. Worst thing that can happen is they say no. Now, once we're under contract, we give them the earnest money deposit. This is typically gonna be about 1% of the purchase price. And the Colorado contract, it has a lot of protections for buyers, so there's multiple exit strategies without losing your deposit. At this point, there's a few things that happen. The title company is going to do the title search work. It basically validates that the seller is who he says he is and that they have the ability to sell that property to you. They also look at other liens in the house and make sure those are paid so that when you buy the home, it is free and clear of other liens. Real quick, I'm going to tell you a story. There was this guy who was married to a woman. They got divorced. He went ahead and remarried with another woman that had the same name as the first woman. They were under contract and nobody realized it was a different person until the title company figured it out. And at that point, they had to get the other person to sign on the sale of the house. So these things don't happen too often, but there's definitely a reason why we have title companies. The next thing is we're going to do an inspection. In Colorado, you want to do a general home inspection, a sewer inspection, and a radon inspection. About half of the homes here in Denver have radon levels above recommended by EPA. And by the way, not because a property has radon, it means you don't want to live there. You can install a radon mitigation system and be done with it. Now, once we do all of the inspections, we need to see if we need to reach out to a professional. Probably a structural repair guy, plumbing, electrician, roofer. So we really need to see where we go from there. This is one of the costs that you just have to take if you're hunting for houses. All of these inspections are going to be from $400 to $800 and they're going to be non-refundable even if you don't close on the deal. Once we have this information from all these professionals, we're going to go back to the seller and we're going to negotiate either if they do some repairs or if they give us seller concessions. After the inspection comes the appraisal. If the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price, it is the last opportunity to negotiate the purchase price of the home. And there's basically 3 things that can happen. 1, the seller comes down in price. 2, you come up with more of a down payment, or 3, a combination of the 2. Once we're done with the appraisal, and a few days before closing, we're gonna do a final walkthrough. If there's something missing that's supposed to be there, the seller's gonna either have to put it back, or we can hold some money in escrow so that the title company doesn't release that money to the seller until they put it back. Do not close on the property if the seller didn't put the item back, if there's no escrow for it, or if there's no seller credit. It's really hard to get a hold of the seller after the transaction. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful or if there's anything else you want to know about buying a home in Denver. As I mentioned, my name is Angel, you're a Denver real estate agent. Let me know if there is anything I can do for you, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.